Hello, everybody. It's Mike Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Got Chris Burris and Patty Greer. We'll be talking about C60 EVO. This slideshow we're going to show you guys is phenomenal. All right, so we've been doing some really good shows lately, and these guys have been coming in with some really amazing information. This slideshow basically just outlines why you want to be taking C60 EVO.
Can I confess in the beginning what happened to me 2 hours ago?
Sure.
I realized my bottle was empty when I made my morning coffee. And my friend that I always do morning convo with, I'm so ready to take some olive oil, but I didn't have my MCT for my coffee. And every morning I talk to my friend, really good friend, for at least half hour. And I was trying to find the word. I was going, I couldn't think of credential. And I went, oh my God, I forgot to take the EVO. It really is like, I'm so used to having a clear mind. And when I did it the second or third time in half an hour, I went, this is not like oh my God, I forgot my EVO. So that's my confession to start the show. And my excuse to say, where is it? Let's hit the bottle, boys.
Let's get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's hit the bottle, boys. Cheers. I didn't even bring a spoon, but I'm going for it. Oh, so good. I rest my case.
You know, Patty, your story has parallels with mine too. When we were first bringing this to market, if I got to the after, I didn't have it as part of my coffee routine, right? And you just kind of accidentally missed it in your coffee routine. So what would happen is if I got to the middle of the day and I was thinking, oh, I need a cup of coffee or I need a nap, I could always look back and remember and realize actually that I hadn't taken my C60 EVO that morning. And then once it became part of my coffee, I'm not perfect, but that doesn't happen anymore.
Can I quote you? You're not perfect.
100%. Yes.
Your name is misspelled. You're Chris Burra.
Is it misspelled?
Burry. Chris Burry.
Oh, Burr. It's cold in Houston.
Yeah.
It's cold for us. It's not. I don't even know if I can change that. But
well, I love it that we decided this year to bring data, and we started the year. And of course, you are the first show every month that we do. So you get to introduce us to the world each month. But January was the first time we've ever shown people images inside the lab because Chris is pretty private. And we just went for it. We opened the door, and it's been really fun because people are realizing, oh, there's a reason he's in that white coat and goggles. It's a real lab there.
He's a real scientist.
A lot of people don't imagine that we're that real, but they've been doing it 34 years. The guy is 75 years old. Look at him. He looks so good.
56.
Amazing. And that leads us to today's show, where we're going to talk about unexpected breakthroughs in ESS60 longevity study. 90% longer life, no tumors, and less toxic stress. Of course, we have to make the, statement about, we can't promise or claim and all that kind of stuff so that we can present this information and not get it taken down. So, Chris.
Yeah, well, I'll start with that, FDA disclaimer. So as I'm going through this, we'll be sharing some anecdotes. I always say, just assume this isn't going to happen for you. Listen to what we're sharing, dig into the research, and, there'll be a link. There's always a link available. And the FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. What I'll do now is jump into this screen sharing. If I can make this, yes. And then we can go here.
Yeah, this is going to be a great presentation. I'm looking forward to it. Really, really good. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. What's kind of cool is the images certainly have been augmented and helped by what's called Nano Banana, which is, Gemini, Google's version of AI. So it helped us I can't tell you how hard it was to get actual images of the scientists in this photo. It would do caricatures or whatever. It's lots of fun. But I mean, what we're looking at here and what we're going to be talking about is this ESS60 molecule. So you've got the image of it there on the slide. I'm holding up the model. If you just happen to be listening, you don't have to rush to your screen. Imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. You have this spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. It was discovered in 1985. I think I can even do like a little, I think I have to click it and then there. Yeah. So now we can see it was discovered in 1985. And there you see that beautiful molecule. There's actually a book called The Most Beautiful Molecule about the discovery, et cetera. It's an amazing molecule. It went on to win the Nobel Prize in 1996. It won the Nobel Prize because the molecule's amazing. It performs as well or better than the current best material in almost every application. So better inks, better batteries, better tires, better photocells. That's where some people get nervous. They're like, what about the health supplement? We'll get there. We'll get to the reason like this turned into a health supplement. I like to point out this timeline is accurate. We were manufacturing this molecule 5 years before they were awarded the Nobel Prize. That is Smalley, Curl, and Kroto, the three guys who won the Nobel Prize for the discovery. Pretty amazing. And that was way back in 1996. What we think this is doing in the body before we get into kind of the ramifications in the study and what came out of the study is according to the B.O.S.S theory, right? So the B.O.S.S theory stands for buffering oxidative stress system. We're going to be talking about mitochondria. We're going to be talking about the fact that there's peer-reviewed published research. This ESS60 molecule gets into the mitochondria, and that it can also hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. So just a quick refresher, mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for your blood cells, which have 0, and then your brain and neurons, which have 2 million. Like every power source, there's a negative byproduct, and that is called reactive oxygen species. I like to picture these, if they're left to their own devices, they're like little bumper cars, and everything they smack into, they're causing rust and oxidative stress, oxidative damage. It's just a byproduct of producing energy for your cell. Now, that doesn't sound like a good scenario, but we're lucky. We've got melatonin and glutathione as the antioxidants to help manage those. So in this healthy mitochondria, you see you have these blue bonded ROSs, so they're not running around like little bumper cars doing damage. But what happens when you stress a mitochondria? And, you know, your first question might be, how do you stress a mitochondria? I like to point out, if you live in this modern society, you have stressed mitochondria, you know, EMF exposure, too much sunlight, smog, drinking, smoking, tough emails, confrontation, all of it causes stressed mitochondria. And at that point, your mitochondria are producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed. You see some of these reactive oxygen species are nice and blue because they've been managed, and then some are red and actually getting outside of the mitochondria. That's when they act like little bumper cars, causing all that problem. And that's where the ESS60 molecule comes in. Again, we know from peer-reviewed published research it gets in there. We believe, according to the B.O.S.S theory, that it holds onto 6 of these negatively charged particles, so they can't run around and do damage. And then when this particular mitochondria replenishes the glutathione and the melatonin, then it can go and attach to those reactive oxygen species, and in this image, turn them blue and make sure that they're not doing any damage. They're not running around like little bumper cars. So that's the fundamental theory. If you break this down, we believe that we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you should have systemic benefits. You should have what we have, which are head-to-toe testimonials. Now, let's get into this particular study, right? So this was published in 2012 out of the University of Paris. It's a fantastic study. And there's 3 key pieces of it. At one point, my director of research came to me and said, this could be 5 separate papers, but we're going to focus on the 3 key ones. The first one is lifespan extension. So in this test, there were 3 groups of rats. One group of rats was given water. One group of rats was given olive oil. That's kind of water is the control group. Olive oil is kind of a semi-control group. And then the last given olive oil with ESS60. In the case of lifespan, a typical Wistar rat lives 32 months, And the rats given the ESS60 molecule with olive oil lived out to 62 months. Again, 90% extension of life, the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history. Peer-reviewed published research, and I'm very proud actually that our lab provided the material, and our lab is mentioned in that original study. So that's kind of step one. The rats live 90%. We can stop there, right? Like I think
we really could. Everybody's like, okay, we can live twice as long, and rats are very much like our human DNA.
Yep.
The closest thing about probably any animal that we can get. So wow, let's go.
But the important thing is it came from our lab, so people can actually get this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next piece is tumor related, and I've got a better slide, but the reality is the rats typically have a known amount of tumor mass. So the longer they live, the more tumors they have in their body. Even though the ESS60 rats lived out to 62 months, none of them had any tumors. So we'll talk a little bit more. I'm going to get into a little bit more depth in most of this.
Seems to be happening to more and more humans too. So that's a good thing that we have maybe overcome that, because I get people in the chat talking about, what might overcome some problems they have. So this is great.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, there's this toxicity piece. It's related to carbon tetrachloride. That's actually an oxidative agent. And the results were just amazing. You can see how healthy in this image here, how healthy the liver looks after exposure to something that causes a lot of damage to liver. So let's kind of jump into these one at a time. So again, we've talked about this. The rats given water lived about 32 months. That's what a typical Wistar rat lives to. And then the ones given olive oil, which were a semi-control group, they lived right out to about 38 months. And then you see the ESS60 rats all the way out here to 62 months, which is, go rats, go. I do like to joke, right? Because some people are like, oh, 62 months. A lot of people, if you just say, hey, do you want to live longer? A lot of people can't separate living longer from living in some state of infirmment. And so their answer to the question is jaded by this lack of separation. They ask, hey, did these 62-month-old rats, how was their lives? And I like to joke that there was no notation in the study that was published that these rats, these ESS60 rats, were walking around with little rat walkers and little rat oxygen tanks, right? Like they lived healthy rat lives until the very end. And in fact, they were down to 2 Wistar rats. One of them passed. Think about this, man. It's so important to give kudos to the researchers, because remember, this was a toxicity study, right? And if anything has ever been true, ever, about toxicity studies, is when all of your water control rats are dead and all of your toxic rats are still alive, the molecule's not toxic, right? Like the purpose of the toxicity study is over at 32 months because all the control rats are dead and all the water rats the ESS60 rats are still alive. But they continued really for another 2.5 years to do the animal husbandry necessary in order to get these rats out into 62 months. So they were down to 2. One of them passed. They humanely euthanized the last one because they were like, it's time to publish. Like, we're 2.5 years after the time that the study was really done. And, a lot of kudos to them again for doing that animal husbandry. So that's this. If at any point, jump in if you've got any questions or want to point anything out. Happy to kind of redirect.
We really don't know how long that rat could have lasted. They just got, we can't last much. We can't take the study any further. We got to euthanize this rat, unfortunately. Yeah. And so who knows how long it would have lasted.
Well, that was 2012. Had it been while I was their partner since 2019, I'd probably still have a pet rat in the kitchen in a cage. So he's 18 now, Chris.
Do we have to sing happy birthday again to the rat?
Yeah.
Of course we do. All right. So this one is really talking about the carbon tetrachloride. And this is interesting in the ramifications. So you have to be really careful if you ever want to talk about hangovers. So we're not going to talk about hangovers. We're just going to talk about, hey, if you over imbibe, you might want something in your hip pocket. And this has implications for that. So again, the control group was water. The semi-control group was olive oil, and then the treatment group was olive oil with ESS60. They injected these rats with carbon tetrachloride. It is an oxidative agent that attacks the liver. And you can see in this image, and really this is a mock-up of the image out of the original study, but very similar in its reality. There was necrosis, so dead cells, hepatocyte cells, there was inflammation, there's steatosis. It was not good, right? Basically, when they euthanized these rats after 24 hours of exposure to the carbon tetrachloride, the ones that were given water showed no recovery from what is typical of a carbon tetrachloride injection. The olive oil showed a little bit, right? So this one looks a little bit better. And the ones given ESS60 were almost completely healthy, right? So as an antioxidant in the liver, like this has significant ramifications and pointing in that direction. So pretty fantastic. I will have to say that AI did make an image of one of these rats with the tail coming out of its mouth. We had to fix that. That's kind of funny. All right. And then this is kind of the interesting slide, right? So a typical Wistar rat lives 32 months and has a known amount of tumor mass in its body. Even so even though our rats lived out to 62 months, by the way, there's more tumor mass as it lives longer. That's why this tumor mass is growing. Even though the ESS60, the C60 EVO rats lived out to 62 months, there were 0 tumors, right? So if you follow this line, right, they should have had this many tumors, this much tumor mass. They had 0. Now, I've told this story to some people, and some people said, "Oh, cure for cancer," and I'm like, "No." And then I follow that with another no, right? There's a huge difference between dealing with a cancer that has metastasized and being what this implies, which is a cancer preventative. We also know some things as simple as good nutrition, good sleep, good exercise are cancer preventative. So this piece of the study suggests that. I will add that there are patents related to this molecule for pet cures for cancer. Those are patents, so that doesn't prove anything, but just it's on people's radar. And the other thing, there's a Petri dish study that's pretty amazing. In Petri dish, by the way, the lowest level of study, but the ramifications here I think are really important, which is if you take a Petri dish and you have healthy cells and you have cancer cells in it, and you introduce an anti-cancer agent, which is a poison, right? You're hoping to poison the cancer cells before the healthy cells. In the presence of the ESS60 molecule, there's increased efficacy against the cancer cells and protective effects for the healthy cells. So basically, introduce that anti-cancer agent, more cancer cells die in the presence of ESS60, and less healthy cells die in the presence of ESS60. And why might that be, right? What's the potential theory? Well, if we go back here and we're looking at mitochondria, cancer cells use a different energy source. Their mitochondrial function down a different pathway, and we think that has to do with what's going on in this particular case.
Yeah, also in that the same light with the mitochondria, COVID-19 attacked the mitochondria quite extensively. So that was another good reason to be using, C60 EVO.
Yeah. No, there are some, we have to be very careful about how we speak, but there are good, when people say, hey, might this have helped? Why might this have helped? You can suggest that antioxidant capability right there inside the powerhouse of every. Basically, again, if you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, which, if you're fighting a virus or a bacteria, you have stressed mitochondria. If you're reducing the negative impact, then everything's going to be better. Not perfect. I'm not saying like perfect, but everything's going to be better systemically.
And we like to tell people when you feel like you're about to get sick, double up your EVO in the morning because you're going to boost your immunity. And another test proved that the immunity that C60 EVO olive oil delivers is 125 times the power of vitamin C in a peer-reviewed research, and 172 times more powerful in another research project. So EVO is really good for when you feel like you're starting to come down with something.
Yeah, and also in the COVID-19 crisis, we had Chinese and French studies where they super hyper dose people with vitamin C, and it it basically overcame a lot of problems with that. So that's another positive, you know, many positives with, you know, potentially that can be, you know, benefits, could be benefits, you know, we have to say it like that,
Yep.
from C60 EVO.
Well,
Nice
and
to keep it clean.
go ahead, Betty.
It's really nice that we keep it clean. You're getting 2 ingredients every morning. This miracle molecule that won the Nobel Prize, and organic olive oil from a farm in Tunisia. Not questionable, but organic extra virgin cold pressed olive oil. 2 ingredients that are guaranteed to be fresh and really good for you.
Yeah, and like from the study we saw, even the rats that used, you know, control study, the water, basically they died out as usual. And then the ones that were using the olive oil lasted a little bit longer. And of course, you know, olive oil with the C60 ESS60 were really, you know, kicking it.
Yeah. And without oxygen masks and little rat walkers.
I'm glad I don't have a rat in my kitchen, got to be honest.
Yes. Now
So-
we had a rat when we were living in Madeira Beach. We had a rat and it was like raiding. I had like outdoors. I had like those trees that had all the plants in it and all the fresh stuff. It raided it. I don't know how I got up there and got it out, but I had to like stop. So it was like it was a super healthy rat. And then we got the hurricanes and blew open the doors because we left and hurricane doors got blown up and the rat made it inside and it actually chased one of us. You know, we're trying to, okay, here's the door, get out. And it wouldn't because it wanted some more good fresh food. So if we'd had a, you know, little Petri dish or something for the, you know, C60 EVO, who knows, maybe it would have, it'll gone outside and lived longer. But it didn't live much longer because it wouldn't go outside, and we had to like, you know, we had to like snap it, and then it was gone. So
it needed to be handled.
it had to be handled, unfortunately. We were very forgiving, you know, even though it was raiding our food source, and we had to like, you know, take that food source out and move it indoors. But you know, once it got indoors, it became a problem. Yeah, not so much. So yeah, but you know, in a controlled atmosphere like that, you know, we're probably at some point going to see human studies. When do you think that's going to happen?
Yeah, well, I think this year we'll start a migraine study, right? Like that's something that's under works. We're working with an organization to get that underway. That'll be an IRB rated study. That's a designation that, you know, that it's gone through the review board so that they determine that you're not going to do harm to the people that are involved in the study. So we're pushing through that process, and I'm excited about that. We are that very weird supplement company, right? Most supplement companies don't do research, and even fewer publish. We published back in 2024. We published last year, 2025. We will publish this year. We are the ones that continue to do the amazing stuff related to doing research.
Yep. So we got ready for that in the audience. Of course, they can start to benefit now.
Yeah.
You know, because we've had a lot of people that have, you know, told us about their benefits from the prop. So we kind of like had an impromptu or not, you know, scientific study that's been going on for quite some time, and lots of great results.
Yeah.
People that I know closely have sent me testimonials about no longer having those monster headaches. And somebody very close to my family, I didn't have any idea she was suffering. She said daily and every 3 months she'd need a shot to deal with it. She was really bad. And I gave her a bottle of our C60 EVO oil, and she hasn't had one since. And it's been close to a year now, I'm guessing. I just got an email from her this morning. Absolutely delighted. She's with my mom, who's about to turn 97. And all of a sudden, my mom's had a comeback. She said, I don't know what's gotten into her. Today's photo is my mom eating a cheeseburger, rolling her eyes in heaven. So she went out again to a restaurant. Like, what? Yeah, it's 97 years old, still remembers everything. C60 EVO mom, I must have sent her a very big bottle. No, I do it monthly. But when she runs low, she lets me know. And my mom is my testimonial on top of everything I know personally. Yeah, I'm so amazed by this product and Really lucky to be partners with the only lab in the world making ESS60. We're the only ones.
Yep.
Like, it's really a treat.
So then I have a couple of slides just on my kind of experience with some of the testing that I've done. We can do that. I don't know if you want to do that. We can talk about kind of what people tend to experience over the first 3 months. Michael, I'm gonna let you kind of steer what you want to do next.
Yeah, let's continue. Let's go deeper down that slide presentation. It's great.
Very cool. So I'll frame it this way. So when we started bringing this product to market, my role changed dramatically, right? I was the chief scientist of a carbon nanomaterial manufacturing business. I became the chief scientist, well, I'm still that, and I added the chief scientist of a health supplement company. And my role was to try and figure, one of my jobs was to try and figure out, what is this molecule doing? And one of the places that we landed, I took a survey of the medical community and what do they think about aging. And in general, they think aging is an oxidation and an inflammation process. And so in terms of oxidation, Patty's already talked about it. There's a peer-reviewed published research study that shows us to be 125 times more powerful than vitamin C. So definitely in the antioxidant category. And anti-inflammatory, we have to be really careful when we talk about inflammation, because the FDA equates conversations of inflammation with the diseases of inflammation, which are also the diseases of aging. So that's arthritis, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, cancer. And so if I come on your show, Michael, and I say, hey, we're addressing chronic inflammation, what the FDA hears is me claiming we cure cancer and cure cardiovascular disease, which of course we are not doing. There is so much research that we need to go into that, and extremely expensive. Maybe we'll get there someday in order to be able to make those claims. What the FDA does allow us to say is that we address inflammation as it relates to exercise-induced inflammation. So I know you've had a tough workout. We've all had a tough workout, or maybe just walked further than normal and felt that inflammation in our body the next day. The FDA allows us to say that we address that type of inflammation. So I've done a couple of kind of biological age tests, and I'm going to talk about those because they're very interesting results. Now, the first one is an ESR test. That stands for erythrocyte sedimentation rate. So basically, you put a drop of blood in a tube, and you hold it vertically to expose it to gravity. And the rate that the plasma separates from the blood is an indication of your inflammatory status, right? So higher sedimentation rate equals higher inflammation. Slower sedimentation rate is better. When I took this particular study, it's from a company called Core Health. They had me at 20 plus years younger biologically than my chronological age, right? So you can imagine I'm happy with that particular result. The next test I did was glycan age. They're a glycan-based inflammatory marker. So really, glycans are a sugar molecule that attach to your blood cells, and they go one particular direction as you age, which is what you want to avoid. How do those glycans attach to the IgG in your blood? And it's a predictable pattern with aging. In that particular study, at the time I took it, it had me 34 years younger than my chronological age. At that time, it had me at 21. I like to joke, if you're under 21 biologically, can you drink? Like, I don't, is that, where does that sit? And then this last test, I got to tell you, I didn't like the number, but I liked the direction. So this is a test called DNAge. It's an epigenetic clock. When I first took that test, I was 51, and it had me at a biological age of 59. This is really looking at kind of epigenetic methylation, one of the standard tests for looking at biological age. Of course, I'm not happy. I'm doing lots of things. I'm taking my C60 EVO. But 3 years later, I took the same test. So when I was 54, it had me at 58. So I had actually gone backwards 1 year biologically, even though chronologically I got 3 years older. That is a result I'm happy with. And then our last slide is people will ask, hey, what is my journey on ESS60 like? And it really has parallels with our most consistent testimonial, right? People take it in the morning. They report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. The parallels are pretty, mapped out. So month 1, it's focus and energy. The testimonial that I lean on is we got some product to a lady. She recorded a video for us that evening and sent it in. And she stated that she didn't finish her cup of coffee, right? If you're a coffee drinker, you know that that's a big deal. If you notice that you don't finish it, and if you actually don't finish it, and I think I shared already, I used to be a 2 to 3 cup a day person. I'd get to the afternoon and I'd think I need another cup of coffee. Now it's 1 cup of coffee a day. And really, sometimes it's just a half. It's a lot of it is about the ritual of making that cup of coffee. And then it's also kind of interesting to point out the weight loss benefits. If you replace some saturated fats with a healthy oil like olive oil, there are weight loss benefits associated with that. So that's month 1. Month 2 is deeper sleep. The reason I think this stretches into month 2 is everybody gets a little bit, more or less sleep every day. And so it's hard to track, oh, I'm feeling this benefit of sleep because I started taking that thing on that one day. So at about month 2, we people start reporting, oh yeah, I have noticed my sleep is better. The testimonial I use for this is my business coach shared that for 50 years, he needed an alarm clock in order to wake up. When he started taking the C60 EVO formula, he started waking up before the alarm clock. Now, remember, he's a business coach, right? So he has late night mixers. He's got late night dinners. None of that seems to matter, except if he doesn't get his product for about 10 days, then he starts to need the alarm clock. And that actually matches the literature where they estimate it takes about 10 days for this product to leave your body. And then finally, when you're really having the experience of that reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria, you start getting these systemic benefits. Some of the reasons we're running clinical trials is we can't even talk about the systemic benefits that our customers are reporting. We got to do these trials in order to be able to talk about them according to the FDA. I kind of give this testimonial. My father-in-law was walking with a cane. At about the 3-month mark, he was able to not use the cane, start walking more regularly. And then, not because of our product, but because he's walking more regularly, he starts losing weight, and then it just starts compounding. That's the kind of systemic benefits that we see in people and get reported to us in month 3.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I'd like to do a personal testimonial on month 3, even though I'm on year 6. I am about to have my 2-year birthday for my second hip that was replaced. And I have had the fastest, cleanest recovery of anybody I know. I do know a number of people my age that have had their hips replaced, and I recovered quicker than any of them and without pain, which is shocking. But it was because I had lubricated my joints over the years with C60 EVO. And he just spoke scientifically. I'm going to speak generic human, because lubricating and detoxing are what I find this product does. Is it lubricates everything that hurts. It's preventative for people that run races, go hiking, need to keep up with their kids. There's so many things that we need to do. And when I'm exhausted or whatever, which doesn't happen too often, when I remember to, take it in the morning, but a little spoonful of this halfway through the day and you're back. My brain is already sharp. Credentials, like boom, that word, no problem. But on this morning call, I was like, oh my God, my brain is. So it's, and the reason it affects the brain so much, Chris has explained, is that what we're doing is clearing the toxins in the mitochondria, or the whatever needs to leave the body that hasn't been good. And when you take this, the first thing I notice is the brain wakes up, because we've got 2 million mitochondria per cell in the brain, whereas the rest of the body is 55,000. So when you take a big spoonful in your face, in your mouth, it's going to immediately, in my opinion, from my experience, wake you up mentally and with your memory and your cognitive powers. people have said, my God, my memory's back and my dreams are more illuminating. And it's really nice to bring yourself back. I live in Colorado where the citizens are fighting what they're doing to the sky. And it is so extreme and so intentional because we're about to be the next Minneapolis, California. I think Colorado is going to be on the next chopping block. So they're going to try and do everything they can to minimize our brain focus. And I just feel like I know what's going on as I just keep taking my Evo and it's not affecting me, but I feel bad for other people because we're being so bombarded by the cell towers and the smart meters and all these intentional toxins. The best thing we can do is just personal prep. Like this is so easy. Spoon, bottle in the morning, and you're going to really help clear your mitochondria, keep your immunity up, and your brain functioning well no matter what's going on around you. And boy, do we need that right now in this world.
Yeah, and I think that brain functioning you're talking about is very critical as well. So I think the calming effect that you get from C60 EVO is pretty substantial. And that's just one of the benefits of many that we've been talking about for quite some time. So the neurons and so forth, we want them to fire correctly. We don't want them to get all clogged up. And, you know, there's lots of things out there, like you're talking about, Patty, that, you know, problems with the water, air and so forth, keep things moving correctly, I think.
Yeah. My daughter came over and she had an app on her phone, which I'd never seen. And she just grabbed everything in the house and scanned the QR codes, not the QR, but the barcodes. And it tells you how many points out of 100 it's good. Wow. And I bought 2 big bottles of this I shouldn't say its name, but it was a doctor's name, and you know, for bubble bath. And I was like, oh, I've really been wanting one. Oh, Natch. It was a 2 out of 100. So I put them both in the box, and I said, next time you go to that store, take the credit and get. I mean, then she went through the kitchen, the fridge. It's alarming. And I was hoping Evo would pop and give us 100, but it didn't scan because we're not like a grocery store thing that they, you know. But I expected it would have been 100, but it was surprising what we're eating, how many points. And a lot of things, you know, we have to look at fats. Well, okay, I have no problem that my heavy-duty organic extra heavy-duty whipping cream, you know, it was only at 60 or 70, and it's only because of fat. It wasn't because of anything bad, but good fats are really good for you. So fats and a lot of things had sodium. We need sodium in our system. And, you know, it also helps us hold, but not too much, the water in. So she's going, no, that's okay, but this is okay. But, you know, then when we get to all the chemicals, it's like, yeah, no. So we won't be buying that again. But, oh, man, it was devastating to go through my fridge and just, you know, and I thought I was buying organic, healthy. So preventative is the ticket. Daily preventative maintenance is going to get us there, keep our brains fresh, our sleep good, and waking up in a positive mood, because I find that I really have the power to discipline my mind, which I use all the time. When things around me are irritating or scary or dark, it's like I still stay centered, and I swear it's the Evo. I mean, people say, like, doesn't that bother you? I'm like, I don't know. I've got Evo brain. I'm kind of balanced. And, you know, if I am bothered, I'm going to take another swig. So, yeah, it's the easiest thing.
So let's look at some of these products, because you guys have a lot of them. I remember when we first started, it was just a few, and now you've built up a nice little, you know, lip balm and stuff for the hands and the face and so forth. There's lots of products that people can benefit from now.
They are, and if your audience wants to go to your landing page, which we're looking at, it's our name, your name, C60 EVO, like evolution.com/unleashing intuition, which is Michael's inner secret, unleashing intuition. But at the top, we have our 2 top items that we sell more than anything. So a lot of people new to Evo will say, where do you recommend we start? And it's very easy. the organic olive oil with ESS60, 4-ounce, 8-ounce, bigger. We go, all sizes. But this is going to get you there mentally, physically, emotionally. Hopefully, people will notice a difference. Like I'm going to say 97% of the people we sell, they notice. And then if you want to go a little further and have beautiful skin, our other one is the starter set, C60 EVO starter set, which is the olive oil and the advanced facial serum, which is all natural, organic, vegan, absolutely delightful. Smells like rosemary, fabulous organic rosemary oil. And it's got a base of chia seed oil. And I think we're the first ones ever to do that, because our formulator has written over 20 books on raw foods, natural living, and she's also into aromatherapy. So everything we do is as good as it can be with the scent and also the consistency of clean products and the ingredients. So this facial serum, I absolutely love it. And I went from looking like a Harley biker chick to looking like Patty Evo. Yeah, it's taken a few years off my skin for sure. And the guys at the lab, it was so funny when I said, okay, I'm putting this on my face because it's so good for everything. Now my skin's getting better. We got to make a facial serum. And the guys at the lab were like, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yay, that sounds so exciting.
And then they decided to try, and the rave reviews. I just saw how many we sold last month because I went through my stats, and it's like people love the product. And what we find is that a lot of people just get it on subscription because you save money every month and it comes to you regularly and you get a discount, but you don't have to run out. And that makes it easy. But we also do bigger bottles every other month. Our subscriptions are very easy to set up with however you'd like it. So we're doing some quantity discounts again on our top sellers. And that is if you buy 2, you get a deal. If you buy 6, you get a great deal. And 3 is another price discount. And also the subscriptions, if you light that up, you're going to save more. And being on Michael's landing page, you're going to find that he's got a secret code that will save you a little bit more at checkout. So we've got discounts all over the place. If you sign up for our newsletter, there's another discount there every month. And you can just put them on top of each other unless it specifies this is a low price and we don't do any other discounts. So you'll see that it's kind of fun to play on the website. But this is our top seller, like I said, is the olive oil. Next is the starter set with the same discounts. And the reason we do 6 is because you want to get 3 for that 3-month layout of total benefits. And once you go through your first week or 2, you're going to say, dang, I want to give this to people I care about. So we do a 6-pack, and a lot of people, we sold those like crazy through the holidays. They made great gifts. And then the guys at the lab called me a year later and they said, well, okay, we give in. We love your face serum. So we've been experimenting. We found this UTH29 peptide that we added to the face serum, and we made the special formula with a different rose oil. And now we've got a 2-part face serum with peptides as well, because all of us are having better skin results. I think you have also, haven't you, Michael?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, you used to be like tough guy. Now you're soft, tough guy.
I am a soft, tough guy. Yeah, I'll admit
soft
that.
Face. I better clarify. Soft face, tough guy.
Soft face, tough guy. Yeah,
So
it can be deceiving, I guess, but I guess people get it. They don't mess with me, so it's great.
Well, I kind of went down talking about you yesterday with somebody, and I was bragging. I said, I think you really was SEAL Team 6. So, I can't even fathom what you went through. Imagine if you had a big bottle of EVO back then, how much easier it might have been.
Yep, absolutely. It would have been definitely easier.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like I was on SEAL Team, like whatever they put me through also felt like rough training. But here we are on the other side and celebrating life. I can't imagine a better kind of last chapter. And this last chapter might go 50 to 100 more years now that I'm on the EVO. You know, I thought maybe, but now that my mom's almost 100 and she just had another comeback, and today she's at a restaurant rolling her eyes over a burger. I'm like, man, impressive. Yeah. Anti-aging, antioxidant, antiviral. I mean, it's anti everything that's bad in our bodies. And it's a fighter. Taking this every day, it's a fighter. So on going further down your beautiful landing page, there's information about what makes us different than other things you might find, such as industrial grade C60, which we also sell, but it's for tires, ink, batteries, and photocells, not people and pets. So our olive oil is exceptional. You can learn about it here. The 2 ingredients. Yeah, it's just lovely. The perfect pair. What we want to do is start ingesting only clean things. And I know food is going to be tricky till we really clean up the food system, but how nice that we've already turned the food pyramid upside down. That was rather massive, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was interesting. And the good fats are, right up there at the top. They were at the bottom. Now they're back up to the top. Because you look at the ancient temples of Greece and Rome, they all have old olive trees outside of them. How about that?
Yeah, and now I'm hooked on eating. I'm hooked on eating bottles of organic olives. I was never into green olives. I didn't like them because they had the red pimento inside, and I thought that's the only way they came, like duh. But once I've been on this olive oil, which I was never into until EVO, it's just so good. And when you go to a fine Italian restaurant and they say, would you like some pepper cracked on your olive oil and the salad dressing? What they're not saying is we got cheap olive oil and we're going to dress it up with some pepper so you don't notice that it doesn't taste like this. This tastes like real olive oil. So a little further down on your page are testimonials from our customers, and it's endless. We get such lovely testimonials. Yeah, I mean, it's endless. And of course, we have to be mindful because we're not allowed to say these things. But when our customers tell us the truth, we'll share it. And like I said, until the rules change with the officials, we have to be mindful to tell people how friggin' great the product is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got lots of, you hit the shop button and you get lots of stuff. You got the lip face serum, lip renewal. I love the lip renewal. It kind of fell off. Let me put it back on. So I love to put it on my lips because my lips are luscious.
They are luscious. Well, with Valentine's Day coming up,
you want luscious lips.
You want luscious lips, and you want to smell like rosemary oil and look half your age. And it comes in this beautiful gift box that slides out. I am proud to say my facial serum is down to the bottom again, and I'm going to crack into this box tomorrow morning. I don't choose to run out. And, we just keep everything handy in the bathroom. But I find that I don't have all those old products I used to have. And I've got family member with a beautiful spa and expensive facial things. And I'm reading the ingredients and I'm going, yikes, compared to what we do. And, those are elite, elegant spas, but we're doing it raw. We're doing it natural. And we're going back to basics, which is carbon 60 was naturally occurring years ago. They find it out in space and at the edge of volcanoes, I've been told. I haven't found any myself, but it does naturally occur in nature. But now that we know that it's this miracle Nobel Prize winning molecule, Chris and Robert designed a reactor in their lab to manufacture ESS60 at the heat of the sun. And there's nobody else competing with us. We're the only ones that cleaned the industrial grade to become safe for people and pets. That's what makes ESS60 different. And here's the pet products, which we're really proud of. I did look at numbers today. The dog products sell a lot more than the cats. So you cat people need to catch up. But people want their pets healthy and they want them living longer. We did just put our 22-year-old family cat to sleep last week. Oh, 22.
Wow.
That's a long life.
Great. Crazy. You know, 14, 15, wow, that's a long time, but 22, that's incredible. So we have a lot of subscribers that send us their results too, and we have some cat lovers out there that actually do use the C60 EVO for their cats, and their cats are just like waiting for it. They're like, "Where's my C60 EVO?" You can almost hear them. It's like, and you see they send us pictures and stuff. It's really fun. It's beautiful.
Well, the cat formula smells like salmon.
Mm.
And it's raw, natural salmon essence. And the dog formula, bacon. And for the men that are listening to the show that go, wait, I want the bacon one, go for it. Just get the dog formula and ignore the word dog, because it's the same organic olive oil that we sell to people with a little natural bacon essence. So not to worry, as long as you don't mind the dog on your bottle. But every product is going to make you feel better. Of course, I can't make that claim, but it's happened for me and everybody I know. All my friends are taking it, my family. And that's how Chris and I know that we believe in what we do, is when our family members have been taking it for years without fail. Yeah. So this beautiful collection here includes our body cream, which is our newest product. And I'm just going to say it out loud. We are sold out because people friggin' loved it. So we might need a month or so before we can fill orders again. But my family says I want to take a bath in it. Yeah. We've had a lot of people say I put it on my wife and I just chase her around because she smells so good. It's quite divine, and we will be restocking it soon. But we had no idea it was selling this well. It is, it's a real treat of a body cream. It smells like tangerine again. Why? Because we're into the aromatherapy element, and tangerine citrus essence makes people happy. It gives you a tropical feel, and it's not like gloom and doom. A lot of oils, you smell chemicals and you're like, blah. Well, 40% of that's going through your skin into your body. So why not do something natural that makes you happy, smells good? And when you walk by people, you see them go, ooh. I've seen it. Yeah. Between my rosemary face and my tangerine skin.
Feels so good. Feels really good on your skin. It really does. And I love to put it on. We have it up here, and I do my supplements, and it's like, oh, there's the Tangerine Dream, and I put it on my hands and my arm and tap it on my face, and I love it. So it's good, smells good, and feels good, and it's making me younger, like we talked about, softer and younger.
Now, how many products go for men and women this equally as C60 EVO? We don't have anything that's one or the other. Everything we sell to both men and women. And even though my men at the lab said facial serum, they all look 20 years younger now. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice.
And now you're showing the hair formula. Trying to see if you grew a little hair back, but you said your mustache has gotten really healthy.
Super healthy. And my and when I do it on my after I do it on my mustache, I do it on my eyebrows. My eyebrows are staying nice and healthy too.
Yeah.
When you get old, I have a lot of, the guys that were SEALs when I was a young guy, the older guys, they have some crazy hairs in their eyebrows. And I've been using it for a little while now, and I don't have crazy hairs. And it's full. They're mostly dark. I still get a little gray here and there. But it's before I was using it, I had a lot of gray and a lot of crazy hairs up there, and now it's like settled down. And it's getting back to the full appearance again. It's pretty amazing.
It is amazing, and it's the peptide and the oil combo. So we have it for face, and we have it for hair. And when you've got a combo like this, it's going to make a difference. So, yeah, we encourage people to try the products and to experiment with the different oils to see which one makes them feel the best. We have 3 flavors of oil right there is our sampler sets, 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 8 ounce sampler sets. That's the avocado oil. Do you love it?
I have it on my salad. I love it on my salad. I know, Chris, you're the same. You love it on your salad too. So
yeah.
I love it on a spoon because it's so nutty. I love the flavor of the avocado oil.
Luxurious. Yes. Again, another luxurious product.
So the avocado oil the olive oil, and the MCT coconut oil. It's a great lineup, fabulous gift for thanks or for thanks for being my Valentine's Day, or for
Yep.
just giving to somebody you care about. It's a wonderful gift. And when you try all three oils, you'll see the difference in the energy that they give you, because the olive oil holds 0.8 milligrams per milliliters of the ESS60. The avocado is 0.6 compared to 0.8. And then the MCT coconut oil only holds 0.35 milligrams per milliliters. So the olive oil is twice as strong. The MCT is half as strong. And if I want it in my morning coffee, I just pour in twice as much. So I like the olive oil amount of B.O.S.S. That 0.85 milligrams per milliliters is a really great powerhouse to boost your energy, flexibility, mental focus, and basically endurance. And when Chris talks about after 3 months, you start seeing, most people see weight loss, it's because all of a sudden you got your energy back.
Mm.
It makes a big difference when you're out in the world instead of lethargic in your chair, you or your cat or dog or your mom or kid. You know, that's, we say over 16, go for it, but we don't sell to children intentionally, and we don't sell it for pregnant or nursing people because we just haven't done the research. But like Chris said, we're the only lab doing the research on this molecule. They've been at it for 34 years with integrity, selling to research institutions around the world. And the reason I'm a partner and co-owner with them is only because the products saved my life. I love these guys. I love the lab. And we took the process of industrial grade up to evolution of the industry to ESS60, which is made for people and pets. Did Chris just fall off the cliff?
Yeah, maybe he had to run. So, oh, here he's back. There we go.
Sorry about that. I did notice a comment, and it said that the link in YouTube wasn't working, and I double checked it, and it isn't working. So then I was trying to log in, and ironically, logging in kicked me out.
Oh wow. Okay.
We will get it working.
Good to know. Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Check.
Well, no, the link, the correct link. I don't know if there's an extra. Maybe the link is just typed wrong in the description on YouTube. So we can throw it in the comments.
Yeah, I just did. So
okay, should be
check that.
C60 EVO, like evolution.com/unleashing intuition. One word.
The one you just put, Michael, is definitely working.
Oh, good. Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Change the other one. So sometimes it happens for some reason. I don't know why, but it's done that before in the past. Thanks for checking. And thanks for guys in the comments for checking on that for us. Appreciate that.
Well, you look radiantly healthy, and your wife looks fabulous. And I think that EVO helps a little, aside from a good life and a lot of joy. So that's what we wish for everyone in 2026 is a good life, radiant health, definitely energy and mental focus. We're all in C60 EVO. Thank you.
Absolutely. And thanks, guys. It was great. Another great show. Love the slide presentation, Chris. You're a true scientist. And I love working with you guys. So appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me geeky.
I love geeky. I was going to be geeky. I was like, oh, I'll be a Navy SEAL. And, you know, now I get to hang out and be geeky with you. So it's fun.
Well, you get the combo of geeky and hippie, you know, like the combo is like we got the aromatherapy and the real science going. So
the spiritual, you know, and the geeky side, you put them both together, and it's like it's the best combo. And I feel like that's the way my life has been.
Amen.
Geeky and spiritual. So there we go.
I think we're talking about you and Tracy, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, we're both the same. She's
Amen.
geeky and spiritual too.
See you in a few weeks. Stay really well.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah,
thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yep. Look forward to the next one. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye, Michael. Bye, Patty.
Bye.